Greetings from the set of Metro and More at Metropolitan Community College, serving more than 50,000 students with over 120 programs at our 8 locations in the daytime, evening, weekends, or online. And I'm your host, Kent Pavelka. Welcome again to Metro and More. More of what you need to know about Metropolitan Community College. In the next half hour, we're going to be talking about the Governor's 2016 Outstanding Artist Award with Jamie Burmeister, art instructor at Metropolitan Community College, award-winning artist, celebrated artist, and the winner of the award and the title of our show. Good afternoon, and great to have you with us.
Yeah, great to be here. Thank you.
Congratulations, by the way.
Yeah, thanks.
We want to dig into this. This is quite an honor. The 2016 Outstanding Artist Award is bestowed to you by the Governor of Nebraska. We've been on the show before, but I'm sure there's some folks watching who have not seen those earlier shows. Talk about yourself a little bit. You have an eclectic history and background.
Right.
Iowa farm boy, and a couple of different educational directions throughout your early years.
Well, yeah, I grew up in the farm in southwest Iowa, and I think through that really learned a lot, diverse group of skills, and when you're on the farm, you got to make things happen with what you have, and so that's helped me throughout my life. And then I went to Creighton University, got a degree in exercise science. I played tennis there, was interested in sports. I also was interested in art, and I've been a musician also my whole life. And then after that, I thought I wanted to be a physical therapist. I tried that out. Wasn't my thing. So then I went to UNO and earned a degree in health education. And so health education is kind of all encompassing everything about health, and enjoyed that, enjoyed being in academics, but I didn't really enjoy the subject matter that much, and that's, at that time is kind of when I decided, I really like making art. I found sculpture, and then I decided that I wanted to be in academics, I wanted to be a sculptor, and so I got a graduate degree from UNL in sculpture, MFA degree, and then, after that I kind of wound up at Metro and have been an artist since, probably, maybe 2000, I'd say maybe 2002, I sort of committed to say, hey, I want to be an artist and I want to pursue this as a profession. So.
But you got started when you were on the farm. Did you do some? Or?
Yeah, you're doing a lot of construction type things, and so I always like to build things, and I think I was always kind of building things for my own amusement, whether it was making a knife or making a structure, a fort, or whatever, going out and digging a hole in the ground or something, just, interacting it with my world in a physical way. And so I think that's what I really like about sculpture. You're making something.
Was there a moment in time where things became clear to you that, oh, now wait a minute, this other stuff's great, but this is what I want to do? Well,
one thing happened when I was teaching over at UNO in health education, and two things happened. I saw on PBS, I saw a documentary on David Smith, who's he's sort of the father of modern welded sculpture, and so he's made these constructions, and that's the first time I'd seen an artist that was sort of working physically. When I thought about art before that, I was mostly kind of painting and drawing, and I could do that for a while and enjoyed it, but it wasn't something I could imagine doing for 12 hours a day or something like that. So then I saw that, it's like, wow, that's pretty amazing. I want to do that. And then that same day I had a student that came into my class. It was a friend of mine who was saying, oh, I signed up for this welding class at Metro Community College, welded sculpture. I'm like, oh, okay, well, I think I'm going to do that. So that, that one day, it kind of changed my direction, and that was just enough to get me started. And then from there, just kind of built on that.
We did a show about the welded sculpture here at Metro, and it kind of makes sense that you combined your interest in physical education and activity with the physicality of sculpture.
Right.
Tell us about this award. How did it come about? And again, congratulations, the 2016 Governor's Outstanding Artist Award.
Yeah, the Nebraska Arts Council puts this together, and they're a great organization here in Nebraska that supports the arts, and they give out arts awards for different areas. So I was in the visual arts. There's I can't remember all the different areas, but there's multiple awards that go out that night, and then so it's
This is the big one of the evening, though.
yeah, I mean they're all pretty equal, I think. Yeah, there's probably, I mean there's no other visual artists in that get an award that night for that, but there's there's an institutional award. I can't remember if there were 8 or 9 awards that night, but they're like the director of the symphony here in town got one of the awards, and there's some other the director here in Nebraska, so it's kind of like art organization or individuals working in the arts that they want to celebrate.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, let's take a look. We have a piece that we're going to show.
Okay.
That kind of will show our viewers exactly what happened that night and what the award was all about.
Great, thanks. Well, when I first went to college, I was interested in art. I was also kind of interested in athletics, and started taking classes in kind of both areas. Later, I came across sculpture and found it's a very physical activity, and it engages the whole body, kind of like athletics or sports do. So I have a degree in exercise science, and then another degree in health education that were it's all about kind of the person and health, and I'm still interested in all those areas, and they come out in my art. I'm a sculptor, first of all, so most of the things I build have a three-dimensional component or an installation component or an interactive component of some sort. I sort of leave myself, I guess I'm pretty introspective with my art, so I'm sort of looking at what's around me and my reaction to that, and then let that be a jumping off point for what I make. So I make a lot of work that's really spontaneous and quick, exploring different areas, and then those pieces that work out and have power and kind of stick with me, then I kind of like to move those kind of into more permanent materials and places, like for instance public art pieces. Some of the works have figures in them, so I've made lots of pieces that have the physical form of people in them. I've also made a lot of pieces that are interactive, and so the viewer becomes a part of the piece. I kind of view those as figurative. And then other pieces where I make objects or take objects and use them use them as stand-ins for people. So I think all my work is probably about people in some way. What I love about being an artist, I can wake up every day and I can explore whatever I want. I could be a farmer, I can be an engineer, I can be whatever I want, and that's one of the best things for me about being an artist. Well, I'd like to thank my lovely wife Kelly. She has supported me as my artistic career the whole time. Couldn't have done any of the things I've done without you. Also, the rest of my family, my son Jackson, my daughter Mackenzie, you guys have been the subject of many of my pieces of art and been very generous with that. Also, my parents, Sally and James Burmeister, have been great support, and my brother Jason and his family. Again, I'd like to also thank Metropolitan Community College, where I work. I've worked there. I'm in my 11th year. The support of the college has allowed me to do a lot of things with my art and have the time to make art, and I value that very much. So thanks.
Jamie Burmeister, the 2016 award recipient, the Outstanding Artist Award presented by the Governor of the state of Nebraska. This goes to someone who practices in any discipline, whose work or career has made a significant contribution to their art form and to the state of Nebraska. How does that make you feel?
It feels good. That's nice. Yeah.
What did receiving this mean to you?
Well, I think you don't really do your work to win awards, but it's nice to be recognized, and it's nice to have someone say something good about you, and so that's nice. I don't get too worked up over it, kind of just stick with what I do, but it's a positive thing, and that helps. It helps keep you going a little bit.
You bet.
For sure, yeah.
Is it a plaque or a trophy or?
They actually had a nice. It was like a blown glass kind of piece. Yeah. So it was my local artist here. Yeah.
Very cool. Sculpture is kind of a catch-all term. There's a lot of different kinds of sculpture, and as we saw, tell us about the vermin phenomenon.
So yeah, I've been doing a lot of projects where I was. Big projects where you're kind of almost more like a manager than an artist. And I just started, I'd be in my classes when I was teaching, and I teach, 3D design and sculpture and ceramics. And I would have, my students would be making stuff out of clay, and I would just grab a chunk of clay, and I started just making these little figures that were just to keep my hands busy. When you're in a class, you don't want to be hounding the students all the time, so when you have a little idle time. And I started installing them in my gallery and museum exhibitions, in the nooks and crannies, and then I got kind of more interested in it and decided that I wanted to do social media was kind of coming about, and I thought, oh, this could be an interesting opportunity to document installing these on my travels, and also maybe get some other people involved. And so I came up with this project to spread these vermin throughout the world, and we over a 2-year period it probably made 8 or 9,000 of the little figures. And
you did all of them?
I did most of them. I had an assistant that helped some. We ended up, it was kind of an evolution. They started out by hand, then after a while started making molds and then slip casting, and that was nice for my classes because I could share those processes with my students. So there's kind of a give and take between the teaching and the art making. But then in the end there were like 1,000 installations throughout the world. They were on 6 continents, 46 countries, all 50 states have had people, and it wasn't me doing them all. There were people who had
joined you,
yeah. They would request them, and then I'd send them out, and then they'd take them on vacation or whatever.
Where does it stand now? Is it still going on?
Well, I had, with the social media, that changes quite a bit, and the blogging platform I was using kind of shut down, and I had this enormous blog of 1,000 posts with images, and so I thought, well, this is a time to kind of shift gears. It had to end at some point, So now I've been doing some scanning, 3D scanning and printing, and then making molds from those, and still doing some installations like that, and kind of, I'm not sure exactly where it's going for sure, but I'm still like that idea.
Very, very cool stuff. Let's talk about art education at Metropolitan Community College, what you teach and what's offered as a whole, and what a student can walk out of here with.
Right. So with the traditional arts, which is what I teach, we have a 2-year program that will transfer to other colleges, UNO, UNL. So we get a lot of transfer students, and then we also get a lot of students that just want to learn how to draw, how to paint, how to do ceramics, how to make jewelry, how to make prints. We have like foundations classes where you learn drawing, you learn 2D design, you learn 3D design, and then we also have the more advanced classes where you get into a little more focus. So yeah, I teach 3D design and sculpture. We have a new media class that I don't think we're going to offer that one anymore, and then I teach ceramics. You're doing a jewelry class. So I'm kind of more the 3-dimensional art portion. I do some drawing as well.
It's interesting, art education beyond the secondary level. You don't go for education so much for the degree, which you can get,
right?
But so you can be an artist, right?
Yeah, a lot of our students are, they might not go get a degree. There are kind of 2 different types of students. There are a lot of transfer students that come in there, and they need they need a ceramics class, they need a drawing class, you know, or they're going to do that 2-year degree and transfer and get an art degree or art education degree. But then we have a whole nother group of students that are just interested in learning these techniques and processes and learning about art. And so,
And all those classes are open to either one of those categories? Or,
yeah, it is an academic program, so you go in and you start at one place and you have to work your way through the program. So you can't just say, oh, I want to take sculpture. You're going to have to go in and take 3D design before you go into the sculpture.
Yeah.
But I think it's good. It's better that way. I think you get the foundation level stuff that allows you to be successful.
Prepares you for what you want to do.
Right. Yeah.
Well, we just showed you the website, and you can get more information if you're an artist or a would-be artist or want to take some art classes. Let's talk about some of the things you've done in the community. What was the lampshade project?
That was a great project. Happened earlier this year. I had been contacted by people here at Metro about making a piece in the Metro Express. There's a window that's got about a 3-foot wide by 20-foot long space that was created when they put in a ramp for the people that need help they can't get up the stairs, disabled people. And it was an odd space, and they couldn't figure out what to do with it. They couldn't hang flat art there or anything, and so it came up with this idea of hanging these columns of lampshades. That the idea was that each lampshade sort of represents the diversity at Metro Community College, and so we put out a call for people to donate lampshades. That so we have old ones that was in probably had 75 years of life, and then we had some that were even kind of pretty much new, and then you had all kinds of different styles and whatnot. And so they're basically a column with all these different lampshades, and I worked with one of my classes here at Metro to compose the lampshades together so they worked well. We built the electronics that go inside them, and there are lights at night that flash on and off or fade on and off, and so we've got kind of right now it's doing kind of a simple, kind of almost like a breathing, with the lights coming on and off. But in the future, we're going to add more different programming to that. So it's got kind of a big presence at night with the light, and then during the day, it sort of diffuses the light that comes through the window.
How long will that stay up?
I'm not sure. I mean, as long as it works, I think that's kind of how a lot of those things. It was supported by one of the Metro Mini grants, and so they wrote that grant, which was really fantastic.
Did any of your students suggest that they put a lampshade on their heads? that'd be art.
Yeah,
that's happened.
I think on that website there's some pictures with some people. Yeah, so we had a great group of students that really took it seriously and made it happen. So it was really.
That's at 24th and
Vinton,
right?
Yep.
Metro Express.
Yeah.
And then an interesting project at the South Omaha campus, the Sound Field.
Yeah, and that was that was an earlier one. It was again it's inspired, I think, by diversity and kind of the diversity that's seen in South Omaha. And so it's got these 7 columns that have these inset chimes, and then a way that people can interact with each of those columns. And so someone comes and pushes the button on one column. That column plays a song that sort of represents one of the ethnic groups that has been come into South Omaha. Each column's got a different one, but then when you have one button pushed on 2 of the different columns, they play a unique song between those 2 columns. And so you've got a whole nother group of songs that are created that become a little more interesting. And then if 3 or more of the columns are engaged, it plays a larger song that's more interesting. And I think it kind of, for me, it was about how that South Omaha is more interesting with the really diverse group of people that have lived there and do live there.
And again, that's still up.
That's
still there.
Yeah,
and will be.
Yeah.
What an idea! I mean, where'd you get the idea?
Well, all these ideas come out of, like my studio art practice. As an artist, you go in the studio and you just make stuff, and these ideas come to you. And I had earlier projects that sort of that idea developed. So it started out with like a gallery installation where I had things electronics, playing music on pots and pans and whatnot. And then
One day you thought, how about outside and make them
Yeah.
bigger? And
yeah, I did one at the Omaha Children's Museum that was part of the O project. It was an O, and a person could sit down there and it plays music. And they all build on itself. They say, oh well, they could do it for that. Those earlier ones, kind of show people you can actually make it happen. And so
very cool.
Yeah.
South Omaha Sound Field is
Yes.
what you call it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Tell us about some of your other more notable efforts.
I've done a project called Message Matters, which I had the idea that it started at the Bemis Center. The Bemis Center, I was having a show there, and I had an idea. They just installed some new windows around the upper levels of the Bemis Center, and I had this idea to do a large piece that engaged the whole building. And so we put 100 lights in these windows, and I was controlling them with a computer, and I had this idea for a piece that was Morse code, and it said love you in Morse code, and it sort of put this Morse code out there, and of course we don't use Morse code anymore, so it was a little bit of a play on our new messaging technologies. But that project has grown. I did it in Akron, Ohio at a museum there, and the last time I did it was last year in Kansas City. We kind of took 10 buildings in downtown Kansas City and kind of engaged the whole, downtown of Kansas City with the best one was there's a hotel that's got this revolving restaurant that they weren't using anymore, and we got to use that. Yeah, I can't remember the name of the
Wasn't
hotel.
the Alameda Plaza, was it? Or
No.
Crown Plaza?
It's right there at
Yeah,
Crown
yeah,
Plaza,
yeah.
but it's that hotel there. I think
Yes.
it's a Sheridan. I think it's
Yeah.
the top of the Sheridan is what it is.
I've been
But
there, yeah.
Yeah. And then there were other buildings, and so that was a kind of pretty ambitious project.
How does the mind of an artist work? Does your career and your body of work just flow, or do you have plans, or how do you have ambitions that look like something in particular?
Well, I think it's a balancing act between, the greatest thing about being an artist is I can wake up every day and I can be anything I want. I can explore anything I want. I can decide I'm interested in agriculture, or I'm interested in, social media, or I'm interested in people, or whatever it is. That's what I really love about it. And you go in the studio and you're thinking about these things and you make things, and then there's that magic thing that happens, which we can't even really describe, whether it's creativity or inspiration or whatever, and then you make something, and then like I said, it's kind of like a journey. I think of it as a journey. You go and you do something, and then that leads to the next thing. And
Well,
that
at
leads
what
to the
point
next
while
thing.
you're doing something do you start itching to do the next thing and know what that is?
Earlier when I didn't have deadlines and whatnot, I'd just go in there. I could do anything I want at any time. Now, I'm having to
Hurry up.
Show. Somebody wants you to do a show somewhere, and So right now, I'm curating a show at the UNO Gallery. It's a show about for blind people. So it's we're getting a bunch of artists, some artists that work that way, but it's all going to be accessible to people.
Tactile.
Tactile or smell or sound or whatever. And so you have a deadline, and like for that, I'm picking the artist for it, but then I'm also going to make some work myself. So I've got to decide, okay, well, here's the timeline, and in 2 months I got to have this thing done, and then you kind of start thinking through your ideas, and then something comes out, and you hope it's good, and
What you've just described is the price of success, because then you get introduced to the concept and reality of stress.
Right. But the way I do it is, I have that and I know what I can do, and I always have stuff in the works, so there's always going to be something there. But I make sure I have time to just go and do something that interests me without any stress, or and I think that's really important. That's one thing here at Metro. When you're in these classes, particularly my classes, I really emphasize people exploring things they're interested in and letting that take you where it goes, within the context of the class. And I think that's really important for development of ideas.
Yeah, that's great. Anything else real quickly you'd like to impart to our viewers or potential students?
Well, I think, you know, if you're interested in art and you know, want to pursue that, you know, Metro is a great place, and I think you should sign up and take a class, or, you know, just get out and make things.
Well, you have talked about imparting to your students the idea of do what you want to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And in whatever form, and you are as eclectic as they come, because not only are you an artist, but you're a polka artist. Tell us about the Polka Police.
Right, yeah, so I've been a musician basically my whole life. You know, I took piano lessons when I was a little kid and played in school, and junior high started playing in garage bands and whatnot, and have done it. It's been a constant my whole life. But yeah, now my brother and I have a group called the Polka Police, and we play.
That's Jamie, the drummer.
Yeah, I'm the drummer. It's a comedy. It's kind of a comedy act, and you know, it's entertainment. And we go out and we just have a lot of fun, and we make fun of ourselves, and yeah, it's very creative. We just put out a recording recently called "Grab Your Wiener, Let's Polka," and.
Facebook page for that?
Yeah. Go to the polkapolice.com, and that'll take you, and we've got a lot of videos and whatnot on there. Yeah.
It's always a treat to have you on the show. Congratulations again on the award.
Well, thank you. It's great to see you again.
And thanks again for being with us on Metro and More. Our goal is to better acquaint you with the mission, leadership, and reach of the college. I'm Kent Pavelka for Metropolitan Community College, closing with a little Polka Police. If you have comments or questions about the program, please email us at metrovision@mccneb.edu. Thanks for watching.
This has been a MetroVision production produced by Metropolitan Community College.